Hopefully this is gonna be, yeah. It's up and running. So guys, thank you for coming. I'll try to put this more into the screen. So everybody will be following a little bit. Or I'm gonna be talking. Probably moving. So thank you for coming today. Today we're gonna have a topic about psychology, which I think everybody should be interested. If not now, it will happen also during the life of your startup, so you're gonna be impacted. Before that, I would like to say a few things. We have today with us Jairo. He's sitting with us here. So he's a very talented guy, techie. So if you don't mind, he could be talking to you guys. You can a little bit talk about your elevator pitch, what you want to be doing, and maybe Jairo wants to join you. You never know. I mean, he's been working on a scholarship from Ericsson, right? Yeah, and he finished yesterday, so he may have some time off. I was extremely impressed. I was trying to have a video at the background of our website. We were trying everything, and he did it in, I don't know, 10 minutes or maybe something like that. So, and I need to tell you that it wasn't that easy. I mean, we were using some stuff. Okay, so he may be talented. So after this talk, you could be talking to him. There is also another thing, and Daniela, which is another girl that will be joining us next week. She's going to be helping Charo and Jesus with everything related from communication, design, everything possible. So what we want to do from next week onwards is to help you out a little bit more to you. So the idea is that you take some time of these guys and they will help you out also to communicate. That means social networks, Twitter, things, design, anything you may need. I mean, you're going to be getting the help of them. That is at least in theory. Okay, but we'll try to help you out also into that one. And the other thing is that don't forget about 1 o'clock. We have another mentoring, and this is about Fiverr. It's a technology that I've been talking to you guys a little bit. So it's a technology made in Europe. I think you should consider right now either to have it into your solution or not. My feeling about this technology is that you can get a lot of exposure and money because they will give you straight away money for you. And in exchange, you need to be doing things in Fiverr, which is something that is right now under development. So some of the companies they were accelerated involved, they were doing this before, and they got from 108,000 to 86,000. Some of the others got 40,000. So we got some expertise into this. So today we'll have a lecture, a tiny one, about the technology. And I've asked the guy that is Mika from the Aalto University. He's an expert in Fiverr. I asked him to be a little bit like journalistic. Don't go into the deep details, but you can ask everything about Fiverr to him. And then he will talk about one of the calls that just was released a few days ago. It's from Impact Accelerator. So this is a specific one. You need to be answering this call if you want to be before October the 15th, which is very close to here, but I at least advise you to consider. Okay. What else? I think we can go straight to the topic. Today we were expecting also to have Miriam on board. Some of you know her. Miriam is quite often also an accelerator, but she couldn't be here today. Anyhow, I'm sure there will be a second topic about psychology later on. She's an expert in NLP. I think it is the terminology. Is neuro language programming or something. So, and she's also a coach in Wingwave, which is some sort of a coaching psychology, and that is quite popular. It comes from Germany. She's very good. So I'm sure she will be able to interact with you guys. The idea is to help you out. It's not try to dig into your problems or anything, only if you want. I mean, I was using her also as a coach in the latest one, and there are changes in your life and everything, but I'm not trying to sell what she's doing. So I wanted her also to help you out in case. So going down to the topic, I think in almost every accelerator you're gonna be exposed to, they tell you how to start a startup. But there is one topic that not too many people think about it, and I would like you to think about it. And this is about why are you starting a startup. So I want to think that you think a little bit about this thing. Why are you starting? So in this lecture, I want you to give you some ideas about why most of the people they are studying, and what do I think it is the best reason for starting a startup. Okay, you maybe have something in mind. Maybe you can write it down for you. I'm not going to be asking you to share it with me. This is something for you. And there is another thing I want to rethink a little bit, and it's about success. There are a lot of people that they want to have success into their startup, but they don't know what it means success for them. If you talk to an investor, they will say, I want to multiply the money I'm giving to you. If you say to some of the founders, they will say success is building up 100 people working for me and giving also money for them. So I want to be some sort of a king. If you ask some others, it will be about, I want to get rich. And I want you to think a little bit about this, because this is going to be with you for, if you're successful, for the next 10 years, at least. So, okay, part of what we're going to be talking is based on how to start a startup, and this is from one of the founders of Facebook. Is Dustin Moskovitz. He also stepped out of Facebook to start another company called Asana. You maybe know both of the companies. So this is an extract of what he was explaining in one of the lectures. So those are, four of the common reasons that most of the people that will start a startup, they will be based on. First, it's glamorous, you'll be the boss, flexibility, and you're going to be making more money and more impact. But his point was trying to demystify most of these things, because most of the time it's not true. So I'm going to be challenging you also. If you have one of those ideas as the key things for starting your startup, I will try to demystify a little bit. It's glamorous, yeah. I mean, you've been watching most probably Social Network and some other films, and yeah, and you know, Hollywood is not helping you out. That is an extract of the Social Network. You see people having fun and enjoying and spraying champagne all over during the beginning also of the company. And Dustin explained that most of the time that was what was happening during the beginning of Facebook. That is an actual picture from Dustin he shared with everybody. It's about Mark Zuckerberg trying to point that he doesn't want to be disturbed. He's into programming mode. He's into hacking the first version of Facebook. And that is what is most of the time happening. And that doesn't show into the social network. That is another one from, I think it's called A Beautiful Mind. One of the movies is talking about someone having a great idea and everything, and then pointing out and explaining everything into the glass window, but that is not true. I mean, this is another picture of, Mark Zuckerberg and he's into another day because he's wearing different clothes and everything, and he's now pointing that everything is okay. So he was the beginning that he's checking in that the things he was programming, it makes sense. But that was almost the beginning of Facebook, although yeah, the media is saying something different. Okay, and we need to be talking about the ugly side of becoming a founder. Okay, this is an interesting article from The Economist about people hiding under the table, and it's actually a true story of a guy that he was, I think, sleeping for about over a year at the office. This is about also depression and a lot of problems that you may have if you take it seriously. So yeah, when you're becoming a founder, there are a lot of stress that you're going to be related to and impacted to. It's not about only you, it's about also the people that they are following you into the startup. So you have a lot of responsibility. When you work for a big company, and if it doesn't work, you just can't leave it out. That will be it. There will be no problem. Maybe a mark into your CV, but nothing else. But if you try to start up a company, people are following, and the company is not performing, that will be like a black eye into your career. So, and there are people that they are maybe not financially, but they are devoting the best years of their lives. So you're responsible for them. If you want to just one day don't work, or 2 days or 3 days, take a vacation, or stepping off the gas of the accelerator and take it in easy, I mean, that will be impacting everybody into the team. People, you're going to be signaling things that they are going to be copying from you. So if you're depressed, they will be depressed. If you're taking time off, they will be taking time off. So I want to tell you that you're always on call, yeah. And then sometimes you get unwanted media attention. And this is something also that happened to us when we started into Bolt. When we started to talk to the mayor of the city of Malaga, there were a lot of media people telling us that we were like politically closer to them, and we were like corrupt because we were trying to get something out of them. There's a lot of stress out of that. Maybe you could be like the person of the year, and you could be glad, but sometimes you're going to be also in some other places that nobody is going to be liking you. You could be impacting in the beginning of your career some media, and they're going to be talking nice things about you, and probably someone is going to be calling you a year after. So how is the company? And they're going to be also reporting that you're not performing the things you were supposed to perform. Okay. Yeah, you're really committed into what you're doing, I think. Okay, there are some other articles that I would like you to take a look into. It's the psychological price of becoming an entrepreneur. Some of them they are quite sad, but I think they are really true. And there is another one from Brad Feld about depression. I want you to just to read, to have an idea. For you, I think it's going to be great, at least to monitor how things are going to be performing. Okay. So another reason most of the people start a startup and decide to endeavor, you're going to be the boss. I don't think that will be it. If you and okay, there is a nice quote from the CEO of Evernote that says a little bit, okay, if you want to be the boss, go into the military or into politics, but don't go into startups. As soon as you get investors, they're going to be on you all the time. As soon as you have customers, they're going to be on you all the time. As soon as you have people working for you, they will be. So you're going to be not the boss. You're going to be the other way around. So don't do it for that reason. Another thing, I want to be flexible. I want to take time off whenever I want. I want to go out and surf or do whatever. And That is not true. I mean, you will have some flexibility, but you're not going to be owning your own agenda. So maybe you will have some time off Monday between 9 and 1 a.m. But you're not. You're always on call, and you're going to be a role model too. And by the way, you're working anytime. Rich. I want everybody what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing something that will have an impact on. I was quite shocked when I saw this, and those are real figures about what was going on into Dropbox or Facebook. So if you were employee number 100 into Facebook, that would be around 2007, and you join the company right now in stock options, you will have about $200 million, at least in paper, in you, which is a huge impact. On 2014, if you were the 100 employee on Dropbox, which right now is a 10 billion valuation company, you will have about $10 million in your account. So if you want to be rich, go into a startup that already has some traction. Don't do our own startup or your own startup. So, okay, if you decide to go for a really interesting business model, and those are funny ones, like, okay, I want to be starting Uber for pet sitting. I'm probably in about a few years, that company will have a 100 million valuation, which is pretty high in Europe. I mean, it's all right. I mean, you're going to have some impact. At the end, you will have about 10% of the company. And this is a thought also for you. If you're planning to do something like that, you want to give a lot of equity to your early employees. If you're not planning to have about 10% of your equity at that time, think about it, because most of the people will not join you. So you need not to be stingy to them in terms of stock options, because they are the early employees who are going to be doing the company big. Or that will be like another joke also, Uber for travel space. I mean, it could be like a 2 billion. And yeah, in a few years, you could be making like 200 million, something. If you're thinking about something really big and you think you can do it, let's start doing it. I mean, why don't you start? But most of the time, it's not about the money. You could join another company and make more money. Some of you've been working in PricewaterhouseCoopers. I have some people. There's some people around here, or some other companies like advertising companies, but they will pay you much more than you will make it here. Okay. Another thing about the impact. So you think you're going to be doing something for the world, and you're going to have an impact. And I was also very surprised when Dustin was explaining a little bit about this. Okay, of course you know about Google Maps. You probably visit this morning or yesterday. Google Maps was something that it was starting into Google, and it was the employee number 1500 which started. It was like a side project, it was pretty impacting. I mean, so you don't need to be doing something impacting in a startup. Go and join another one, a big company that is already doing. And then there is another person that is Justin Rosenstein. He was one of the guys at Google who started into the chat, the Gmail chat. He made a lot of money, but he started into this when nobody thought that there was a possibility of having a chat over a browser. He made a lot of money out of this, by the way, because he had some stock options. But the most impressive thing is that he jumped off board Google to join as a 250 employee of Facebook. And he was leading the hackathon, which at the end led to the like button. So of course, the like button is something that is changing also our ways of doing into social media and everything. But if he joined a startup at that time, he will not be able to do that, because you need also the distribution of a big company like Google or Facebook. Okay. So now, what's the best reason? Or like that was coming from Dustin. Sam Altman thinks he's the president of Y Combinator. Also, he thinks there's a big, nice reason for doing it. So, can you guess any reason for starting startup? What is the best reason? Guess. Creating value. I mean, we revisit that into the like button or Google Maps. That is the impact or whatever. Value. Okay, maybe value for whom?
Customer.
For the customers. Yeah. I think there are some others. Okay. Any other one?
For the right. So the overall experience is starting company from scratch is different than running Google or any other big company to start. Like,
so for the right, because you're going to have an experience and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is an interesting one. I think there is another, and yeah, I was looking and revisiting. This is a word play. You cannot not to do it. It's like you can't stop doing it. So there is something into you that says, I'm sorry, this is like an obsession that is coming into me, and I need to be doing this. That happened to the guys that started Facebook. At the end, they jump off board to start Asana. So during the whole day, they were working into Facebook, and then suddenly during the night, they were starting this project aside for starting Asana. So it's something like your heart is beating out at your chest, and you get like completely obsessed about doing what you do. So it's not about a financial reward or creating something for the customers. That happened into us involved. I mean, I'm into the trap of doing this because you are a little bit more like a missionary. You're trying to do things for the community or for someone, but I couldn't stop doing it. I mean, and if you look into the numbers, it doesn't make sense to start up an accelerator. It doesn't. You're not going to be making any money at all. And it's a very long term. So why I'm doing? I mean, I was feeling bad because I am an engineer, and most of the engineers that they leave the university here in Andalusia, they take a plane and go and work for some other companies. So I feel like, okay, I need to try to convince them to do it here at home and start their own companies. So this became like an obsession. Two things: you need passion and you need aptitude to do it. Passion because you need to bring people on board into your company, and you either have it or people are going to be signaling from you. The people can smell when you're not passionate about it. So, and aptitude is the world really needs what you're doing. They need you, or they need it, the thing that you're trying to build. And I think it's a good idea to revisit if that is true. If it doesn't, maybe think a little bit about why you're setting up a company. I don't know if this is moving you or make you think a little bit about what you're doing, but it did it for me. Then I would like to tell you a few things about your own psychology. Ben Horowitz, which is one of the most known venture capitals in Silicon Valley, he says something that a CEO, the most important thing for a CEO is to manage their own psychology, because things are going to be a little bit worsening. So with the time, the swings are going to be worse, bigger and bigger. So the ups are going to be upper, but the lows are going to be lower also. And it's your task to try to to figure out how to deal with it and to manage, to live with the swing, to know how to do it. And then if you're going to be successful by any means, or you're going to be popular, there are going to be a lot of people hating you. So people who thought that it was a great idea to do what you were doing, they will go against you. It could be the media, it could be your own friends, or it could be your competitors. You're going to be saying, okay, why these really shitty companies getting 100 million into them for doing this? And people will start hating you. So you need to be ignoring them straight away, because that will impact you a lot. And then you will need to be thinking about long-term commitment and long-term strategy also. Most of the founders, when they start up a company, they don't think about this seriously. They think, okay, maybe this is going to be taking me 1 year. And yeah, in 3 years, I'm going to be selling my company. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be starting a venture capital, or I'm going to be under a palm tree in some other beach in the world. But most of the time, this is not true. I mean, if you're lucky, it will take you about 3 years to figure out if these things are working or not. Now we are seeing companies that we started about 3 years ago. We're starting to see them shaking and dying. It's like, we saw from the beginning things were not going well, but it takes you some time to figure it out, especially if you're committed into that. And the more you think into a long term, the better for you, because that will ease a little bit what you're going to be doing now. Another thing that you should bear in mind, monitor burnout. I mean, you start to realize also that things are becoming a little bit more unproductive. You're running like this is a 100-meter contest, but it's actually more like a marathon. So after a few months, you're going to be feeling like exhausted, but you're keeping on. Try to figure it out when you're really burning yourself out. And I'm probably the worst person to tell you that. I mean, I haven't been taking any vacations for, it's going to be about 3 years. And that is quite common. I mean, of course, you want to plan vacation, but then suddenly it doesn't work. And then you have lows and highs and lows and highs. Try to monitor before things is starting to get really bad. And one of the things that I figured out shows the burnout is losing focus. Yeah, in the beginning, you start doing things that makes a lot of matter into your company, but then people start to go into shows and conferences, talking to some other people. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, that maybe is not the focus about what you need to be doing. So think if you're unfocusing, that it could be a signal that you're burning out. And okay, if you're extremely lucky, someone is going to be showing interest for you. My comment about that is that try to ignore it, because this is going to be bringing you a lot of trouble. If someone is interested in you and you're looking into their bid, you're going to be depressed when they're bidding for your company. If the price is too low, you're going to be saying, okay, this is done. I mean, this is it. Nobody's going to be asking me for that. And if they, at the end, they don't acquire you, you're going to be even more depressed. So forget about that, at least on the first years. And don't try to push your company to get acquired. Don't have it as a goal, because most of the time it's the other way around. Companies get bought. You don't sell companies. Companies get bought by someone. So don't push it. And okay, another thing is and this is probably the very true. The companies fail when the founders quit, and we have a lot of expertise in about that. Maybe we have about 10 companies that they started into Bolt and then they led nowhere. Some after a few months, a few weeks, and some after 3 years. So the day you start thinking about, okay, this is it, this is the end, I'm thinking about jumping off the boat is probably when the company is going to be quitting. So don't even think about quitting early. Okay. a little bit of fun. I read it into a post, and I think I like it. This is trying to make a relationship between setting up a startup and a love relationship with your partner and fiancé. So those are 7 things you need to bear in mind. And this is for both of you. First, you need to be passionate about it. So when you're starting a relationship, if you're not passionate, forget it. So, why? Because you need to invest a lot of time and money into this. So what is the price of not doing it? Third, all parties need to have equal interest. So if you're thinking about her about sex and she's thinking about money, this is not going to be working. So that is the same for a startup. You co-founders, you need to have the same equal interest. If one wants to be a king and the other one wants to be rich, this is going to be collapsing sooner or later. Focus. You cannot be in Tinder when you're having a relationship. This is a little bit like that. I mean, don't try to focus on too many things in the beginning. If you don't focus, that will lead you to nowhere. 5, be flexible. I mean, some things don't work right now, but it may be working later on. So try to be a little bit flexible about the things, because at the end, you're building up a relationship. Fail fast. So try a lot of things to try to see if things work. I mean, if your girlfriend doesn't like kite surfing, maybe you can go on cycling with her and some other things. I mean, try different ways, because some of them, you will keep it at the end. And if things doesn't work, bounce back. I mean, if your startup didn't work and you push that away, forget about getting depressed and being like 3 months crying about these things. Like, come on, be back. That is my advice for both girlfriends and startups. Try it up again. I don't know if you follow me or you just think I'm completely nuts, but okay, and those are the final things that I wanted to share with you. And this is something I was listening when I was driving last week. I used to listen to TED Radio Hour podcast. I don't know if you know about them. They used to can some tech talks and adapt it for radio also, so it's easier for you to listen to and really hook into them. And they have one that is screen time. It's a 2-part thing about how the screens and the Google glasses and everything related to virtual reality is going to be changing our psychological world, our people and the users that you're going to be using. And it has a lot of insights. I love it. Some of them, they are quite really lows, but everything you're going to be doing is behind a screen, either your web browser or your application. I think is nice thing to be reading to. Another thing I use quite a lot, those are brain waves. I don't know if you know what they are. They are binaural waves. So you need to be listening with headphones, and that will allow you to keep focus or have some critical thinking. Some of them, maybe they are bullshit, but for me, it works sometimes. So this is an actual application I'm using into my iPhone. And the good thing is that it allows you to have also something in the background. You can either have your music or you can listen to the tech talks or to some other podcast. But every time I'm driving, I'm using this. I used to put focus and alert because I don't want to be distracted when I'm either listening to music or listening to some podcast. It helped me. So if you think it's too noisy sometimes, it will help you out. It has some white noise and some pink noise and some strange things. I really recommend you to do it. So if you see me around with my headphones, sometimes I want to be blocked from that. I don't want to be signaling things like that, like Mark Zuckerberg, but sometimes I wish. So if you're using Spotify, there are some others also that you can use. If you type binaural, it will show you some music, but most of them, they are together with some music, and some of the time I don't like it. It's either chill out music that I think is sometimes cheap, but if you want to listen to some other things, I suggest you could be using this. Okay, the other one that it was quite popular also between some of the startups, we had it here, is about meditation. It's called Headspace. I don't know if you have heard about it. This is a startup, and they will help you out to exercise your mind and everything, and try to be mindful about your life. Some of the key of the developers, they use it here. So I think you have some free part. I used for some time and then stopped using it, but I have some problems about meditation things. I mean, I'm not going to be telling you. I tried, but it doesn't work with me. I don't know. It doesn't get as sticky. One of the companies we had in the previous batch, the name is Look, I Was There. It was set up by a girl from Singapore and a guy from Madrid. They used to go into meditation camps. So they were isolated for 10 days, one from each other. I mean, meditating for more than 8 hours a day. And they say it was perfect. If you can do it, maybe you need to be trying, but I think it will help you out with your psychology. Okay. If you don't, you can try this. Okay, just a couple of more things. This is Mark Zuckerberg last week video. I don't know if you saw it. He was showing everybody like a 3-minute video about what is Facebook. What I wanted to share with you is that I was surprisingly shocked about how natural everything he was explaining it was for his life. So he was talking like talking to a friend, and this is my life. I'm spending 11, 12 hours a day here. And this is my desk, and this is where I live. And you know, he's one of the richest men right now in the world, but he's into a thing that it will last probably his whole life. So he's feeling like working is actually part of his life. For me, it was quite shocking, positively. So you need to normalize everything you're doing, and so everything becomes a little bit more natural. Okay, of course, there will be some surfing. And this is a video that I like it. It's from Facebook. I played the other way, so it's going to be opening my Facebook. If I'm lucky, I'm going to be opening my Facebook. So where is it? Oh, here. So it's okay. Let's see if I got it. Oh, sorry again. Where is it? I really want to show that to you. Come on, guys. Oh, I really want to show it. I see myself like the guy on the video. Why this is going? This is slow. Are we into? Yeah, this here. Oh, come on. This is a bummer. Okay. The sound is not very interesting. This is about a guy surfing in Costa Rica. Surfing for me is a little bit like starting a startup. So this is the first wave that he's trying to catch, and yeah, of course, takes the board, and he's pumping and grasping, and then there's another set coming in. For your information, waves comes in sets, normally between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waves. So if you get captured by the first one, you're going to be suffering also. And this is normal. This is pure surfing. Everybody loves surfing, and everybody sees pictures about Kelly Slater jumping and doing things. But this is like starting a startup. You probably have an idea about how fun it is to start a startup, because But the beginning of the surfing is like that. You can see one after another. This is a 3 minutes. You get another one and another one, and the guy is just like fighting for a little bit for his life. He's not fighting for his life, yeah, but it takes like 20, 25 seconds and going up and breathing and pulling the leash to get his board, and then coming in again and again and again. He's out of the game. It's a little bit like, come on, guys, come on. Another one is coming. It's coming. No, it's going to capture me. Another one. So lift the board. Yeah. After the end, you finally get on board and get some air, and it says my ear and everything. Most of the surfers, they suffer this. Most of the startups, they suffer this one after another. So you need to like this. You need to like the water. You need to like the turbulence. You need to like the psychology. Otherwise, you're going to be suffering a lot, because this is like starting a startup. Now you could see, probably you're going to see the guy's face. He's going to turn the camera back. It's like my ears. It's like completely gone. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then you're gonna go out to the beach and say, how was surfing? It was perfect. It was great. I mean, you're bragging to everybody. For me, this is a startup time. Maybe. I thought it was funny because, and most of the time you're surfing, you're underwater. And this is what I call a board meeting. It has a lot of things. Every time that I want to call for a board meeting with my co-founders, I used to put this. This is about Bolt also. If you wonder what is about Bolt, this is an old surf brand from the States that it was almost was out about a few years ago. And 2009, when I took my sabbatical year, they started to start up again. Okay, that was it. Again, think about your own success. I mean, I don't stop thinking about this all the time. So that was it. Hope you like it, and I hope it thrilled a little bit what you're doing and why you're doing this. So thank you, guys.